Hi, I'm Natalie from ATMS. Welcome to our Symposium Presenter Spotlight. Today's interview is proudly brought to you by Bioceuticals. This practitioner-only company brand is proudly owned by Australia's largest healthcare company, Blackmore Limited. Bioceuticals is your choice for high-quality, practitioner-only, nutritional and therapeutic supplements. Additionally, Bioceuticals' close partner, FX Medicine by Bioceuticals, provides practitioners with the latest integrative medicine podcast, resources, and articles. And these are very useful for practitioners in clinic to enhance your professional development and improve patient health and outcomes. ATMS have our post-virus symposium that's going to be coming up in September this year, and we're going to have 5 leaders in their field talking about this important topic. Today, I'm going to be joined by Dr. Emma Tippett. Emma completed her medical degree in 2012. She underwent training in infectious diseases and research background in PhD in HIV immunology. Since the pandemic, Emma has been at the forefront of all things COVID and now has a telehealth specialist clinic focusing solely on long COVID. Clinic 19 has 8 clinicians, including a pediatrician, and has provided care to over 500 patients. Welcome, Emma. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Natalie.
Sounds amazing. Clinic 19. So when did you start that and how did you get into that, I guess, that really niche focus?
Yeah. So the way that my interest in long COVID started was due to a large outbreak that I had in one of the public hospitals I was working at as an infectious diseases clinician, where up to 70 nurses contracted COVID pre-vaccination with the Delta strain. And it took a little while, but eventually we were able to establish a staff clinic. And I checked in with all of those nurses 7 months down the track and found that 40% were still unable to return to their previous role due to symptoms related to their COVID. And these were women in particular who were at the absolute height of their field, ICU heads of units, spending all day running around the hospital, running CPR, etc., who were unable to vacuum their own house, do their own shopping, needed to have a nap after having a shower. Like, it was really heartbreaking to listen to. So that was where I got into the interest into long COVID. And then over the course of the next couple of years, kept an eye on the literature and looked out for solutions. And obviously there weren't the idea for any post-viral infection is time heals all, and there's not much that you can do. But as I kept an eye on the literature, there were some emerging treatments that made me think that it was worth getting that out to the people who are suffering. And I was unable to get public clinics established at the 2 public hospitals I was working at. So I thought, well, I'll just do it myself via telehealth privately, which is actually, as a model, been absolutely amazing, because it means that we can provide a service across Australia where there are many cities, capital cities, that don't have a dedicated long COVID service. And of course, there are people who live rurally who the health challenges to travel to the city, or even for people who are in the city to travel across the city just for an appointment, can be incredibly debilitating and have consequences for them. So the telehealth model works really well, and it means that we can expand and continue to provide care.
I think it's brilliant. You have such a big reach. And as you said, a lot of these people are so sick, like you have to have a nap after a shower. That's heartbreaking for so many. And for you to see it, be working in the hospitals and to see it every day. So amazing effort. Well done. And I think everyone's so used to telehealth now anyway, which is so fantastic.
That's right.
And what have the main areas of, I guess, focus or in your research in that post-viral illness been over the last few years?
Well, it's really evolved. Initially, our treatment options were on the incidence of POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, which has an incredibly high prevalence in people with long COVID, which took a while to be recognised. And so first up, having to educate myself on how to treat POTS, which is actually not that hard. So starting with that as a first intervention, but I think now that most GPs are picking up on that and starting interventions themselves, but then keeping an eye on the emerging literature and patient-led treatments, what patients think are helping to manage their fatigue. And so adding in, month by month, we add in new focuses or try new medications, and we feed back as a group to try and identify the interventions that we think are making the most difference. And so now we focus on, well, obviously fatigue is a main issue, but fatigue, sleep, gastrointestinal disorders, pain, for just about every single patient, in addition to POTS management, would be the core. And then depending on what else they might have, such as allergies or sinusitis or things like that, as their symptoms develop. So that's our clinical focus. We're continuing to keep an eye on the literature and develop what we think that works. And then in the future, we're hoping to be involved in a platform-based clinical trial, actually looking for treatments and potentially cures for long COVID, which is very exciting that the Australian government has committed a significant amount of money to that. So I'm hoping in the next couple of years we'll actually have some solid evidence-based treatments that can improve the quality of life for patients.
Wow, so exciting. I hope this research goes well ahead for you and you get some really good outcomes for patients who are suffering, as you said, so many broad symptoms, and a lot of the time multiple symptoms as well, as you mentioned.
That's right.
And what do you feel like the number one way that natural medicine practitioners can really make a difference for their patients that they are seeing for post-viral illnesses?
I think the biggest problem that everybody with long COVID has faced is trying to find practitioners that are actually sympathetic. Well, first, believe in long COVID. So we, on a day-to-day basis, we'll have patients say, my GP won't write a referral because they don't believe in long COVID. The range of symptoms that a patient is experiencing from a medical point of view always makes a practitioner think, do they have anxiety or depression? But what they need is somebody to realise, no, these are physiological responses that are very broad, affecting the neurological system, which runs our whole body. And for a patient to just be listened to have their symptoms accepted, to not be questioned about, are they really experiencing it? Could they just try harder? Is the most important thing for a patient. And there's certainly patients who've been traumatised by the medical system in our clinic. And I think that where alternative practitioners have really played a role is in providing that support and looking for solutions when the mainstream medical system were not doing that.
I think that's so important, because as natural medicine practitioners, they spend a long time with patients, and they are really sometimes the last, port of call for somebody. They've tried everything and they go, right, I'll try this now. And a lot of the times when they see something, oh, you're actually listening to me and talking to me, which I think is so validating for them. Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's right. And the feedback is the practitioners are willing to work with the patient to find the solutions to their symptoms and their problems.
Absolutely. It's real. It's real for them.
I mean, it's still being questioned, but it is real.
And I guess what's the most, if you're getting questions in your type of field, in the post-viral space, what's one of the main questions you get asked?
The main question is, are people getting better? And that's obviously by people who are most severely affected and have been possibly at a low ebb for over a year, getting into 2 years, and they're wondering what the hope is and what their future looks like. The majority of people with long COVID will recover in the first year, but I think the reality is if you get past your first year and you're into your second year, then things are not looking as good for you. And I think we need to acknowledge that and stop telling people that you will get better with time, because I think that people will get better with time, but we don't know if it's going to take 8 years, 10 years, 12 years. So that's a question that I often get asked, and I look at my most challenging patients, and I've gone through periods where I've worried. I felt, no, they're possibly not getting better, but I'm feeling that the boat's starting to turn for some of those patients, and I'm definitely seeing improvements, which is great. But I think the more exciting thing is that there are some really exciting treatments in the pipeline that I think will show outcomes, and so there will be treatment options. It might take still another couple of years, but there will be treatment options.
Giving hope.
That's right. No, don't give up hope.
Don't give up. No. So, as I mentioned, you're going to be one of our presenters. The post-viral symposium is going to be on Sunday, the 15th of September in Sydney. We can't wait to have you up here in Sydney. And your session's going to be on the clinical management of long COVID. So we can't wait to see more about what you're going to be presenting at the symposium. Before you go, can you share us where can we find you through your website or get to see what you're doing?
Well, all our the website is www.clinic19spelledout.com.au. Welcome patients can register via a wait list, which fortunately, due to some new clinicians coming on board, is not completely blown out like it was. They can register, and we do hope to be able to offer appointments to every patient within the next 6 months.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Okay, thanks, Natalie.